Right. So let's quickly go over a few more things in InDesign that might be helpful for you. We're just mentioning with Melanie. Um, let's establish that grid. So let me just show you how you do that in general, right? Those guides, these cyan guides that you can sort of pull down. What happens is I have the rulers turned on here in InDesign. And if I click and drag from the horizontal ruler, I can then, oops, I can then place a horizontal. I don't know where the hell this is going. Oh, sorry, it's because I'm not on the, okay, here we go. I can click and drag and I can pull down a guide, right? You can see, hopefully you can see that gray box. It's sort of telling me where it's at in the Y position. And that's sort of Cartesian coordinate space, right? I can go ahead and always select these and delete these. They don't actually show up when you print, make a PDF out of it or anything like that. They're just there as a visual for you. Same with these margins that they put on by default. And so, yeah, I can go ahead and move these around and place them however I want. So that's assuming that I have also looked at the page and made a decision on what kind of grid I want and what the module is. Let's say I want, 2-inch modules or 2.25 inch or something. Let's say I have 3 by 3 or something like that. I'm always sort of looking at how I can subdivide a large space into a smaller space to begin to give me some modularity, right, inside. Unless I have full bleed, full page images each time, then it helps to sort of have that grid underlying everything. If you don't see these rulers, sometimes they're turned on or off. You can toggle them on or off. If you go to View pull down, you can hide rulers, you can show rulers. If I hide the rulers, then suddenly when I go back down to this, it's the option is to show rulers, so you can toggle them on or off here in the View pull down. Let's see. Also, under extras, you can say hide frame edges. Let's see, grids and guides. You can hide guides, lock guides, show guides. So all these guidelines that we pull down, you can lock them once you have them locked into place. But what's interesting about InDesign, like I mentioned, like I could pull this down and make a new guide here, but it doesn't actually show up anywhere on any of the other pages or comparable pages. One thing you can do is um, you can go to, I'm on the Pages tab over here on the right? Layers, links, pages. Pages is a really handy thing. It shows you all the pages that you have. It also shows you all the sort of masters here. And they might have changed it. I don't know if they still changed the name. But as of my build of 2024 InDesign, they still call it A master. You can do B masters. You can actually add more master templates if you'd like. Um, and so this is like the sort of none. I can always just pull and drag and then apply none to all of these, and there really is nothing there. Let's see, right? So you can see that with each of these spreads, I basically just pulled down guides to use locally on each page. But if I go to the master, I can do this in a systematic way. So I'm in the A master. I just sort of double clicked on one of the pages. Now you can see I'm in the A master spread. You can see it's highlighted here in the pages. And I'm just going to pull and click and drag. I'm going to make let's see, this is set to 1/2 inch. Is it? Actually, looks like it. Yeah, that's 1/2 inch. Okay, that's fair. So maybe I'll go down 1.5 inches. I'll make 1 inch each. Let's see here, 2.5. I'll just quickly do this. You can see also 3.5. Sometimes if you're clicking and dragging, you don't necessarily actually get the exact measurement you want, or you release it and then suddenly it's not on 3.5, it's on 3.61 or something ridiculous like that. You can always select the guide and then tell it up here, I want it to be exactly 3.5 inches, right? So if I just sort of throw it on here, but then I say I want it to be 4.5, right? I can go ahead and do that and be very precise with numbers, entering in some data into the field here. Right. Now, one other thing I didn't mention, but could pop up when you're using InDesign or any program like this. Let me just finish this out. It's going to drive me crazy. 9.5. There we go. And one of the things I might mention is that it's automatically showing me inches up here as units, but it's not necessarily going to do that by default. So if I go to when I'm first making a document, I think that's one of the options is what kind of units you want to use. And there's like picas and points and centimeters or millimeters. I picked inches because I'm in the United States and that's what we use for better or worse. But if you go to, you can always change that after the fact. So you can go to document setup, I believe, file document setup. And oh, well, here's the size. And here are the margins, half an inch on either side. Let's see. So I don't see it here. Maybe if I go to layout, pages, let's see, margins and columns. There's margins and columns again. I just want to be able to change my darn units. Where is it? Always hidden, these things. Define document presets. Ay, ay, ay. Adjust layout. No. Hmm. File info, user settings, user package, print presets. It's somewhere here and it's really obvious and it's just not sticking out to me in the most obscene way while I'm doing this in front of people while recording. Of course. Let's see, margins, columns, pages. General interface. Maybe I just go to general interface. Type, units, grids. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's having that problem or maybe but if I go to like new document, yeah, I believe it's going to tell me, it's going to ask me what units to use, and then it's going to give me the page size, width, and height. I don't measure things in picas because I'm not a robot. I'm not a psychopath. So I use inches, and then suddenly everything's set to inches for me when I first set this thing up. You can do that after the fact. I don't know why I can't find the option to do that, to sort of change your units, but suffice to say, that's how you start to get these rulers on and off. I can do the exact same thing over here. I can copy, can select all of these, copy, and then over here, maybe paste in place. And oh, no, it didn't do that. Let's see if I can paste over here. It's going to paste them. Okay, here we go. And I'm just going to drag them over here just to try to save me some time. But I could drag over here as well and start to pull these off. Now, let's say I wanted this grid, I'm really happy with this horizontal sort of striation that I've done, right? I can come down here. Let me make some more pages here. And let's just ignore these old pages. Let's say I'm going to go to page 6 and 7. You can see that it's already applied the A master to them for whatever reason. In fact, it's applied the A master to all of these. And if I wanted to not apply that A master, I could pull down this none and apply it, just drag and drop it down in. Over here, I could pull this down and apply them over here, right? So that's how I can begin to do that. Now I can't mess around with anything that I put in the master template unless I go back into the master template and change it there, right? So when I put something in the master template, I can put things here. That's really handy if you're making a book. What you can do is you can actually make a special, like for instance, things like page numbers and things like that. You can actually make a special text object in the master page, which is just basically a placeholder for page text. And then it'll show up here locally. It'll actually fill in. It'll look at what page it is and actually fill in the page number for you and things like that. So, InDesign is all about sort of making booklets, and so like portfolios. And so it does a number of these things for us in a nice way, including being able to let us edit text in Word doc and then plug it in, just like you're inserting a photo. It'll insert Word doc in. Let me just show you how that works. Right. So if I make a text box here, let's say I'm going to do it here and and I'll make another column here or something. I don't know why I would make it that size, but whatever. If I just go ahead and let me just place something here. Let's see. Downloads. Good old Perkins and Will, they asked me to peer review some possible articles in their annual report this year. Maybe let's see, what's a good Word doc here I can use? Quick Word doc. Let's look for a Word doc. No, this is actually a pretty good Word doc. Let's try that. So what it's going to do is it's going to say, oh, okay. First of all, it's using some fonts that you don't have. I'm going to go ahead and say skip. And I'm just going to, just like an image, I can plug it in, but I'm plugging it into this text that I made. And now you can see that the text actually moves off the column and says, well, we have more text than can be displayed in the column. I can click that plus, and then it says, oh, you want to keep placing more of this text, and I can move it down into this column as well. So now suddenly, this thing wraps to the next column of text, and I can, oops, give it more options here. So we have an abstract, etc. So that's how you can begin to do this. Let's say you have text, let's say you're doing something long with longer text. You could, have it span multiple pages, multiple spreads, depending on how you're intermixing images with text, right? Maybe you have, let's see, let's see, one more text column over here. I'll go ahead and move it. Again, you can have it sort of move around. They've actually put a bunch of images in the text, so it's actually importing those things in. Then the question is, do I go back into Word and fix that or whatever? But it's always sort of linked into the Word doc, so I can always open it back in Word, make some changes, change some footnotes, etc. And then when I open it back up in InDesign, all the changes sort of update, right? All right. Same thing with images, right? So place and golly, I don't know. Let's find some images. Icons. There we go. There's some work I did with Microsoft earlier. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and just resize it. First, I'm going to move it, and then I'll resize it to sort of fit. I'll hold down that shift button. Okay. Now, you notice that I didn't quite snap to that 4, right? So its width is 4.015. It's just a little odd. So here I can go back and say 4 and 4. Right? Just double check and make sure. And then I can say the top left corner, right, is at 9 inches in the X and at 0.5. So that's really precise. That works out just fine. All right. And so you can begin to sort of, again, use the grid to your advantage. You can also always go up here and start to look and see exactly what's going on regarding the sizes if you have something really precise and you need it really precise. This text looks a little large to me. Another thing you can do really quickly while I'm recording this is when you go to text, character, and paragraph, let's see. They're here, but if you don't see them there, you can always toggle them on, I think, in the window, right? You see type, tables, character, paragraph, etc. I believe there used to be character type or character style and paragraph style. Let's see. Um, where you can basically create your own sort of styles and then much like if you're a power user on Word or PowerPoint, you can make your own styles and then you can just sort of place everything in its own style. So you don't have to like manually sort of change the font size and if it's bold or italic or not, and the leading and the kerning and everything else. You just set it once in the style, and then you can sort of apply the style to, all your paragraphs, all your body text versus all your subtitles and etc. I'm not sure where those are at now all of a sudden. Let's see, object, layout, properties, styles. Oh, styles. Yeah, so character styles, paragraph styles, etc. Um, so I could, again, go back into paragraph style or make my own paragraph style, create a new style. I believe you can maybe do it here and then so let's see, let me make a new paragraph style here. I think what I can do is I can change this around. Let's go with something like Helvetica. Um, Let's go with the regular, yeah, this 0.9. And body text, let's make it just slightly here. I can even, see the colors here. I could even make it just a slight gray, darker gray rather than a complete black, right? And I believe I can add paper body paragraph. Let's see, create new style, paragraph style 2, paragraph style 3, right? So I can say edit, I can look at these. Let's see, basic character formats, Helvetica 9, etc. Right? So you can see that once I make something here, I can go ahead and set it as a style, and then I could go through and each paragraph. Let's see, I can go here and let's see. Yeah, I can go back to this paragraph and say paragraph style 2, right? The reason it's highlighted like this is because it's gave me a bunch of errors like, hey, you don't have this font, so it defaulted to like Calibri or something. I don't know, whatever the default font is in my system. I don't know why it's Myriad or Calibri, but because I don't really care for either of those typefaces, but whatever. And so you can see I can go back through and start to change things now. Maybe that's different than, let's say, um, this. I might say, okay, I'll keep it Helvetica Neue, let's see. I'll go ahead with 12 in this time. Not bold italic, but let's say maybe just bold. And maybe I'll make that. Where did it put it? Paragraph style 4. Okay. I think I can edit. Let's see. I can edit and I can change, say this and say subtitle Josh. Boom, right? And so now suddenly I can go, okay, abstract. Let's make that subtitle Josh. Um, Stakeholders, let's make that subtitle Josh, right, etc. Okie doke. So that's how you can start to use these things. And if I wanted to, I could always dock this over here on the right and have it as another one that can expand. After a while, you start to fill up the right side of your screen, and none of these actually work so well because you have so many things here. That said, I can always sort of expand them out or shrink them a little bit. Um, yeah, swatches, character, etc. So anyway, give myself a little more real estate, or I can sort of drag. All right. So if you have a set of rules, you want to make a couple of rules here for yourself, like the types of styles that you have. Like, hey, I have one for the title page. Let's say the cover. Like say I have two for the cover, then I have one for subtitles, captions, and one for caption text or body text. Then suddenly you have a set of rules. You don't have to really rethink things. It helps you maybe keep from making mistakes, etc. Let's see. It's going to bug me until I change all of this. Ah, geez. Paragraph style 2. Yeah, sure. Why not? Etc. So but anyway, you can see that even with a really sort of small or quick sort of set of rules here, you can start to make, I think, a really interesting sort of hierarchy here. You can see that, out of the box, I've orphaned these keywords from the abstract, then suddenly goes 1.0 introduction. Then it looks like there's a page break or a column break, and then suddenly does stakeholders over here for the next sort of subtitle. So, having to sort of manage this kind of stuff, you might then start to make some more decisions like, hey, I'm going to move this down, maybe even these things out just a little bit more. Um, save a little more room for this title, or maybe I make the title its own, right? So you can begin to sort of play around and sort of make again a nice graphic composition with some good graphic composition rules here. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why I'm still worrying about this, but yeah, whatever. Um, all right. So that's how you can, again, quick reminder about guides, but then that's how you can use these masters. Um, let's see here. Edit page size, create new page. Right, I can begin create another a parent, B parent. Yeah, it's weird that they call them master at the very beginning, but then everything else is parent. But whatever. Again, these are all different templates. So let's say I have three different templates. Let's say I'm, depending on what I'm doing, I could, again, I could, make something here, this template, and then apply it to these pages by simply clicking and dragging onto those pages from the template, etc. All right. Yay. Okay. Now you can see that this one has B parent, which has nothing in it applied to it, so it doesn't have these horizontal lines anymore. Yeah, anyway, that's InDesign in a quick nutshell. But again, it's all about just sort of placing things. Having these guides help out a lot. After that, it's about placing, right? File place, JPEGs, PNGs, Illustrator files. If you place Illustrator files, any vector graphics remain vectorized, right? So let me just place something really quickly to show you that as well. Um, let's say you've made painstaking improvements to, something you brought out of Rhino or Revit into Illustrator, adjusted line weights and things like that, made a nice vector graphic. You don't have to rasterize it into a JPEG or PNG if you don't want to. You can always bring it in here. I'll just place. Let me find an Illustrator file here that might work. Let's see. Teaching. Hmm, demo files. Let's try to find one here that might work here. Um, that is a vector sort of thing here. Let's see. Hmm. What am I looking at? I'm looking for an AI file, right? Yeah, there we go. Section overlay, windrows, close-up site. I'll place two files. Sure, sure. I'll just place them. Oh, what did I just? Okay, sorry. Here I'm saying it's going to work perfectly. I spend all this time and then what I picked doesn't work. Of course. Of course I didn't. Let's see here. Let me go back, maybe pick something from here instead. Hmm. AI file, diagram test. That'll work. Yeah, here we go. So you can see that again, it brings in these vector graphics. I can zoom in as much as I want. They're still going to be vectorized and it's linked up, right? If I go to links over here, right? You can see that diagramtest.ai, that's one of the links. It shows me the path, right? Teaching AI A7117677, blah, 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 diagram test. I can always go back to that Illustrator file, change something. When I open it back up into InDesign, it's going to say, oh, they made some changes, just so you know. And here they are. Boom. Now it looks different, right? So, but again, I can come back in here and start to play around and how this thing fits into my grid, right? Okay. This is just, an overall sort of building highlight, but then showing particular pieces of program on the inside, highlighting it with a different color, specific color, whatever. All right. Anyway, just wanted to show you guys that quickly, get that, um, making that abundantly clear